Good evening, I'm reporting live from the news desk, as a massive unprecedented story is unfolding within the global music industry tonight. For years, the public has consumed the meticulously crafted image of one of this generation's most undeniable vocal talents. However, breaking reports indicate a seismic shift in the career of Jordan. Sources confirm that what was supposed to be a routine press cycle has instead become a public dismantling of her former management structure. Our newsroom has been flooded with real-time updates regarding her sudden and dramatic departure from the established industry playbook. This isn't merely a shift in musical genre or a standard rebrand. It is a full-scale departure from the corporate machinery that has governed pop music for decades. Observers are calling it the most significant talent rebellion in recent memory. Tonight, we are breaking down the timeline of events that led a seemingly compliant superstar to throw away the rulebook on live television, leaving executives scrambling to control a narrative that has rapidly slipped through their fingers. The implications of this broadcast are rippling through every major record label boardroom. To truly comprehend the gravity of tonight's breaking developments, we must first examine the suffocating pressure placed upon the former child Prodigy. Since her earliest televised appearances as a barefoot jazz vocalist, the industry recognized a highly marketable commodity. However, investigative reports indicate a growing, hidden friction behind the scenes over the past several years. Management teams allegedly attempted to systematically pivot her authentic, soulful identity toward a highly processed, algorithm-friendly mainstream pop persona. Insiders speaking to our network under the condition of anonymity describe an increasingly hostile working environment where her artistic input was routinely dismissed by senior A&R executives. She was consistently pushed into recording sessions that directly conflicted with her creative boundaries. The psychological toll of navigating this intense pressure cooker while maintaining a flawless public smile evidently reached an unsustainable threshold. She was quietly suffocating under the weight of commercial expectations, setting the stage for the explosive pushback that the world finally witnessed this week. The cracks in the foundation were there, the industry simply chose to ignore them. Leaked corporate documents exclusively obtained by our investigative team reveal the staggering multi-million-dollar contract that was left entirely unsigned on the executive table. Financial analysts have reviewed the proposed agreement, describing it as an astronomical offer designed to lock down her talent for the next decade. The paperwork promised comprehensive global arena tour, relentless cross-platform promotion, and guaranteed mainstream ubiquity. Yet in an astonishing move, she walked away from the negotiation table completely. Legal experts analyzing the leaked contract point to a notoriously restrictive clause regarding the permanent transfer of her master recordings. Recognizing the long-term consequences, she reportedly refused to surrender the fundamental ownership of her life's work to a board of directors whose primary loyalty is to quarterly profit margins. By rejecting this golden cage, she essentially forfeited guaranteed generational wealth in favor of complete autonomy. This rejection sent immediate shockwaves through the label's corporate hierarchy, as they had already factored her projected revenue into their fiscal forecasts, sparking the ensuing conflict. What began as a standard, heavily scripted morning show promotional interview rapidly descended into one of the most unpredictable live television moments of this decade. Network producers anticipated a polite, media-trained conversation focusing on upcoming superficial projects. Instead, viewers witnessed the complete dissolution of her carefully managed PR facade in real time. Bypassing the host's carefully vetted softball questions, she looked directly into the primary broadcast camera and began meticulously exposing the exploitative practices of the modern entertainment business. She utilized her live platform to articulate the intense manipulation tactics deployed against young, vulnerable artists. The live control room reportedly debated cutting the feed, but the sheer momentum of her delivery made it impossible to censor without causing a larger public relations catastrophe. The veteran interviewer was visibly stunned, unable to redirect the conversation as she confidently outlined the exhaustion of constantly battling for fundamental creative control. It was in hijacking a media narrative, turning a simple daytime broadcast into a platform for industry-wide exposure. Looking resolutely through the lens, she didn't just answer questions, she delivered a comprehensive manifesto that international fans are already officially dubbing the 2026 Vision. This segment of the broadcast functioned as a formal declaration of independence from the established corporate music ecosystem. She meticulously laid out a radical, decentralized blueprint for the remainder of her career, confirming the complete severance of ties with traditional record labels and distribution networks. Her upcoming initiatives, she announced, will be entirely self-funded, fiercely independent, and distributed directly to her global audience. By deliberately bypassing the traditional gatekeepers, she aims to eliminate the corporate middlemen who dictate artistic direction based on viral algorithms. She firmly stated that she will never again allow executives to dilute her sound for mass consumption. This 2026 vision represents a direct threat to the current industry monopoly, proposing a sustainable model where the creator retains total equity and creative veto power. It is a bold, highly calculated risk that challenges the foundational economics of how modern popular music is produced and consumed worldwide. At the very core of this unprecedented artistic rebellion is a fierce, complex legal and ethical battle over the absolute ownership of her intellectual property and master recordings. For decades, the standard operating procedure in the music business has required artists to relinquish the underlying rights to their sound recordings in exchange for upfront capital and marketing support. During the broadcast, she challenged this archaic precedent, arguing that creators must retain the ultimate rights to their own voices. Legal correspondents note that her public stance heavily disrupts the speculative market where private equity firms purchase artist catalogs for massive profit. By demanding total ownership, she is directly cutting off a major revenue stream for her former corporate backers. This stance is not merely philosophical. It is a highly strategic financial maneuver designed to ensure her long-term stability without reliance on a corporate patron. Our financial analysts suggest that if her direct-to-consumer model proves successful, it could trigger a mass exodus of established talent demanding to renegotiate their legacy contracts, potentially destabilizing the traditional label economy. Corporate empire is demonstrably striking back, as overnight, data analysts observed her top streaming numbers mysteriously plummeting and prominent placements simply vanishing. Almost immediately following the controversial broadcast, a coordinated industry retaliation appeared to commence. Independent data trackers monitoring major streaming platforms reported a highly irregular suppression of her entire catalog. Algorithmic recommendations for her music were seemingly disabled, and her tracks were quietly scrubbed from the highly trafficked, influential editorial playlists that drive modern chart success. Industry watchdogs suggest this is a classic, aggressive shadow banning technique utilized by powerful distributors to financially penalize artists who step out of line. By restricting her visibility, the establishment aims to artificially manufacture a decline in her popularity, attempting to prove that she cannot survive without their infrastructural support. This swift digital suppression serves as a severe warning to other musicians observing the situation. Challenging the institutional power structure will result in immediate, severe consequences for your commercial viability and discoverability. In what appears to be a heavily orchestrated public relations offensive, anonymous sources are suddenly flooding tabloid outlets with damaging accusations surfaced overnight. The media landscape has been rapidly saturated with unverified reports attempting to fundamentally dismantle her professional credibility. These strategically planted articles paint a deeply unflattering picture of an artist spiraling out of control, labeling her as impossibly difficult to work with and emotionally unstable. Media literacy experts point out that this is a textbook smear campaign, a common retaliatory tactic used by powerful entities to discredit. By attacking her character, her detractors hope to invalidate the serious structural criticisms she raised during her live television appearance. Our network has reached out to several of these anonymous sources for on-the-record verification, but all requests have been ignored or, despite these aggressive attempts to tarnish her reputation, public sentiment appears to be polarizing, with a massive contingency of her recognizing the negative press as a desperate attempt by executives to regain control of a highly volatile, highly public situation. Amidst the coordinated media blackout and relentless tabloid attacks, our cybersecurity correspondents have uncovered highly sophisticated encrypted ciphers hidden within her media. Refusing to be silenced by the institutional suppression, she has initiated a brilliant underground counteroffensive. Over the past 48 hours, a series of independent visual teasers have been released across alternative digital platforms. Analysts initially dismissed them as standard promotional material, but eagle-eyed supporters quickly identified complex digital watermarks and hidden visual puzzles. These elements contain encrypted messages and specialized routing protocols directing users to a secure website hosted outside mainstream digital jurisdiction. Through these clandestine channels, she's actively bypassing the shadow bans, communicating directly and securely with her most dedicated supporters. She is effectively organizing a decentralized, grassroots digital infrastructure, ensuring her music and her message can be distributed free from corporate interference or algorithmic penalization. It is in modern digital resistance against corporate censorship. As the immediate dust settles on this historic and highly disruptive broadcast, the broader music business is left nervously bracing for the severe long-term aftershocks. She has successfully executed one of the most high-profile industry defections in modern entertainment history. By willingly walking away from guaranteed commercial supremacy to fight an entrenched corporate system, she has exposed the raw, unfiltered reality of talent commodification. Her actions have permanently altered the conversation surrounding artist rights, intellectual property, and creative autonomy. While she may have sacrificed the immense financial backing of the industry's largest players, she has secured absolute sovereignty over her artistic destiny. Critical question currently circulating through every major newsroom and record label boardroom is not whether she will survive this transition, but rather how many other marginalized artists are preparing to follow her blueprint. The 2026 Vision is no longer just a personal manifesto. It has evolved into a highly viable, deeply threatening alternative model that could redefine the global entertainment landscape for decades to come.